in us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like Kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
Hello everyone, welcome to Tottenham Away. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you all as always. Hopefully we've got a really good conversation, a good show for you tonight. If you don't know, his name's Harry Scarfe. He's a young lad, but he's a diehard Spurs fan. He's got his own podcast. He'll talk to you all about it and tell you where he's at on podcasts and socials. But Harry reached out to me and he said to me, I want to debate you on Levy and some other subjects. And I said to him, I'm always open for the debate, always welcome anyone that wants to have this conversation. So I said, Harry, let's set it up. And we have. All I ask for you in the comments, be respectful. If you've got any questions, put them in. If anyone gets out of line, I will block you. All right. Because I know we do have quite a few people that watch this channel that aren't happy with the owners. But nonetheless, let's be respectful to Harry. Harry, how you doing, my man? And tell us where we can all find you and what you're about, basically.
Yeah, firstly, still massively appreciate you for making this happen. You obviously did reach out to you. It's something I was really keen to do, so really do appreciate that. Big up to the chat as well tonight. So yeah, basically, I'm Harry Scarfe, a football content creator and YouTuber 15. I have my own podcast and channel, Scarfe Spurs. So created it on the back end of 2021, and yeah, just had the pleasure of delivering really for the beautiful game. Lots of content, some amazing people on the channel. So yeah, no, it's been really good for me. Last year was a big year, obviously being a finalist at the Football Content Awards, reaching 1,000 subscribers. I worked with Fulham and Tottenham around autism. So there was a lot of good things that happened in a short period of time. So looking back on it, because obviously it's hard to reflect at the time, it's a really good year. Grateful, so many amazing people around me have supported me, been on so many amazing channels, adding this tonight to the list. So thank you very much, Stel, for making this happen.
Mate, I always say to anyone, if you want to debate Levy, Enoch, reach out to me. Very, very few people do. You're probably one of the only ones. So more than happy to have,
I've never said to a debate, Stel. I love a debate.
Yeah, no, but you know what? That's what it's about, because we often get accused on this channel of being an echo chamber. And I always say to people, well, come on and debate then. Rather than sitting from the distance, pointing the finger at us, come and debate. So good on you, Harry. And I know you've got quite a big following on social media, which is great, and you're growing. So I hope that continues as well.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, let's quickly say hello to people in the chat. I always like to do that before we start the show. So we've got Fat and Fit 40 Plus. Big up to you. We've got Adam, Tony Rodriguez. We've got Patrick in the house. Ray the Yid, Chris, who's been with us since day one. William, Stabs in the house. Graham, big up to you. Huddersfield Town FC, big up to you guys. We've got Mark Cousins. We've got Jay. We've got Sparrow BG, 3WS Sports, SCARFE, who's on the show as well. We've got JJ, Barney Adams. I think these are from your channel, so good to see them watching as well. The Spurs fan, Tot Spurs. We've got Yossi, Ronan, who's a big Liverpool fan. Jurgen Klopp, my man. Jurgen Klopp. We've got Mark, we've got Thomas. Who else have we got? I'm going through these quickly because there's quite a few. We've got John George, big up to you. We've got Seb, Enzo, who's come from your channel. Bring It Big Boy. We've also got Edward Talks, Jason, Patrick, Lappers82, who's old school, and Ben Charlton, who joins us on Facebook, and Thomas. Guys, thank you. Please smash like, subscribe, get over to Harry's channel, like and subscribe over there as well. And I know, Harry, you've only got about an hour, so let's get it. Let's rock and roll. So, I want to ask you a question before we have any kind of debate.
Absolutely.
Why are you leaning more towards Levy and Enoch than not? What's got you to that place where you're quite, I don't want to say protective, but you're more supportive of the ownership than what someone like myself is?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a good question. And I'm going to sit here and hold my hands up because last season I was someone who was actually attended a couple of the protests. Fantastic guys who generally care about the club. Huh? Yeah, really? I was there. Yeah. No, I was down there a couple of times last year.
Are you leaving it out or are you leaving it out then?
I'll explain. Wait. Because I get on well with Brian, so it's massively, nice to support that at the time. However, look at right now, I think we've got the managerial appointment right in Postecoglou. For me, we've had two windows where I would say arguably we back the manager. I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm leaning more towards him. I'm just at a point where I want what's best for the team. We've had two good windows. I'm happy with the players we brought in. Very happy with the players we've got out. To be honest with you, I have flip-flopped over the years, and I'm open to admitting that last season at times it's really dire. I thought the managerial appointments were poor. I think the recruitment, is poor that season. We got Ndombele, for example, but Paratici has come in, and ever since, I think the recruitment's been good. I've been satisfied with it. So at this moment in time, I think we're quite stable. When you look at FFP, for example, we played it perfectly. We got clubs like Newcastle, they can't spend. We played it perfectly with the new stadium, and it was quite a clever move. So that's mainly why, to be honest with you. There's no huge reasons. A lot of kind of things combined, but at this moment in time, I'm quite happy with what we're doing. Apart from obviously you've got the ticket price, and it's a whole separate thing. But generally, quite happy.
Harry, okay, you threw me a bit of a curveball here. If you were Levy in or Levy out or in the middle, where would you position yourself on that kind of spectrum? And would you be maybe leaning one way or another, or are you just in the middle? Where? Because you just said to me you could
probably slightly in. Yeah, no, probably slightly in at this moment in time, and that is purely based on our recruitment and the managerial appointment that we've got. And I think we've been backed. I think for me, two windows, and even though Mourinho and Conte didn't work out, I understand trying to get a manager. I understand your thoughts. Pop's got so close. I understand the thought process and getting a serial winner to try and get over the line. Do you do it twice is a completely other discussion. But I kind of get looking back on it, the thoughts on it. So yeah, being honest with you, slightly more on the inside of this moment in time, but it's interesting to get obviously people's different opinions and where we kind of stand at it. But at this moment in time, I'm happy with what the board are doing on and off the pitch. I think the future's bright. We're committing people like Sarah and Udogie to 2030. So I look at it right now and going, the club's not only thinking about now, but the long term with FFP, being able to spend money, get the recruitment right, and produce the best talent in England as well. So at this moment, yes, probably slightly in still, if I'm honest with you.
Right. There's so much here for me to
go on.
To ask you then. Right. So if in the next 2-3 years, the signings maybe dwindle a bit and we don't win trophies, do you then lean the other way? Or are you, no, keep the owners, just change the manager and change the recruitment team?
Being honest with you, obviously it has to depend on the players we get in and out. But it would probably take a lot for me to go, right, Postecoglou is not the right manager, because I think he's the right manager not only now but for the long term. I'm someone who's not afraid to call out if I don't believe in a signing. I think we had personally, like I said, a really good window last season. The last 2 windows I think have been really good for me. But also that we signed players like Jed Spence, and I go, be honest with you, I don't know why we've done that. So, it does depend on the recruitment. I think it's been really good recently. I can't see it going downhill. But obviously, we've been through a cycle where we've got rid of a lot of managers. So I think they need more time. They need more backing. I think that's what we're seeing now with Postecoglou. So I'm happy with what I've seen. But I'm someone who's quite flexible. And at this moment in time, I'm happy with what the owners are delivering for us, and a large part of that, if not always, down to Postecoglou. I think he's been given a large amount of the tools, but he's also got the best out of players like Sarr, Basuma, which Conte simply couldn't do. Porro, another one. So a lot of it lies on the manager Postecoglou, but I think he's been supplied with the tools, and I think that next season, I think we're in a strong place to kick on and win a trophy. Of course, the window is important, but for me, we brought in 2 players that will really help us progress.
Okay, so we've made really good signings. Yeah. We also signed Phillips, who doesn't play for us. Solomon, who some say he's good, some say he's average, but he's injured. Johnson, who gets more criticism than any other player at the moment. Villiers, we have no idea about. And Timo Werner, who hasn't really done much so far. So there would be an argument to say that have all the signings been good? Also, if everything's so good and everything's so great and you're really happy with things, we went out in the first round of the Carabao Cup and we went out in the second round of the FA Cup without even laying a single glove on Man City. We didn't even test the waters. So how is everything so great, as you put it, and we're currently 5th?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Personally, for me, I think we sit here in 5th right now, knowing that we've got 3 first teamers to come back in Son, Sarr and Basuma, and we've been unlucky with injuries. So I think we're in for a really strong second half of the season. I actually went on TalkSport after we got knocked out. Obviously, the first round for us, but the second round of the Carabao Cup, I wasn't happy. It put it down on the season, blah, blah, blah. But you look at that, that's Postecoglou. He learnt from that against Burnley and Man City. We went strong. City, never going to be easy. There's no shame in losing to Manchester City, but we only had 1 shot, 1 on target, so that is disappointing for me. Ange had to be flexible with his tactics. I think Werner made so many good runs, put the ball over the top. So for me, Ange wasn't flexible enough in the tactics of our game. And Chelsea, for me, coming back to that game, playing the high line without Van der Ven, your quickest registered player in the Bundesliga, you just don't do that. So, Ange, as great as he is, he does often make mistakes. And Fulham was, that for me, his biggest mistake. I think he's learned from that. So it's disappointing, Stel, but we can fully focus on the league. It's a free hit almost, not being in Europe to go at the league. So I do think we will get top 4. And I think that, some people say, are we in a title fight? Realistically, 8 points off Liverpool. They've got Alexander-Arnold Robertson who just come back, Salah to come back. I can't see us finish above Liverpool or City. But like some of the signings you mentioned, you look at Phillips and some of the stuff that's coming out from Plymouth fans looks really good. I think we've got a player for the future. I don't think it was ever going to be for now. Valise, I can't really comment because, again, I think it's a player for the future we haven't seen.
Plymouth Argyle are not a Premier League club, though, are they?
No, they're not a Premier League club, but everyone starts off somewhere. You look at Kane, the clubs that he went on loan to, your Millwalls, your Leicesters, your Norwiches. So absolutely, but like Devine, for example, on loan, the first part, I know he's not a signing, but the first part on loan at Port Vale.
Haven't we done this many times before? Right? We praise players, but look, they're doing well at this club, they're doing well at that club. We haven't signed a homegrown talent that is young, that has come into the first team and shone in probably the last player would probably be, I'm thinking coming through the academy, probably Dele Alli, but he didn't come through the academy. We haven't signed a homegrown player that's come into our academy system, gone on loan, and then shone. So aren't you just being a bit of a happy clapper here, Harry? Without being disrespectful, are you just overhyping something that none of us know what's going to happen next?
No, I understand that, but I think the gap, being honest with you, the first team, the youth academy, is quite big, and I think that would be Jonathan Larger and Daniel Levy and everyone on the board's job to try and reduce that gap and try and produce excellent players. But when you've got players like Jamie Donnelly, Will Lancashire, we've seen with Ashley Phillips. I know people are going, Ashley Phillips, why haven't we seen him again? I think Postecoglou, when we had the injury crisis, personally could have given him a chance, but as someone who's watching for Plymouth, Devine as well, he proved he can do it in League One, proved he can do it in the Championship, and at his age, he's ahead of where he should be, ahead of his development schedule. So, yeah, we don't really know. It's not fair for me to comment on players like Valise and Solomon. We haven't seen enough of.
That's my point, right?
I absolutely get it. So we have to see, but I do think we have a bright team for the future. I think Sarah and Doggy committed to 2030. The club looked at that and went, right, yeah, these are two players at the heart of Ange's system and committed them for the long term. So, and this is something I think we've missed, being honest with you, in recent years, where we go, it's not just about now, it's about the long term. I think that's why the youth academy has also suffered. So it's really nice for us, anyway, for me, to think about the long term. And as mentioned, Sarah and Doggy, we have to see, but you hear from Plymouth Argyle fans, it's very, very positive. It'd be great when we get players back from injury, and we get to see the likes of Valise.
I heard the exact same thing. I heard the exact same thing from all the Norwich fans when Skip went on loan to Norwich, man of the match every week, player of the league, player of the month. I heard the same thing. And see,
I think that's different.
where I'm at, Harry, is words, opinions, beliefs. I'm at a point now where, and this is where we're different as fans. I don't believe any of it. I go with what I see. And this season, I've seen none of the youth break into this team. I've seen none of the youngsters given a proper chance. A 5-minute cameo at the end, to me, isn't a chance. A proper half a game, 30 minutes, I haven't seen that. I saw us get absolutely humiliated in the Carabao Cup. And I saw one of the worst FA Cup performances at home in a very, very, very long time. We didn't even lay a glove on Man City. Yeah, we're in a top 4 race. And yeah, we probably will get top 4 as players come back. But my argument would be, Harry, other than top 4, what do we ever do under this ownership? And how have you flipped to a place where, no, we're all good now. We're all good now. Because I saw this under Harry Redknapp. I saw this under Pochettino. I even saw Conte almost do this as well. But, okay, things turned sour. I remember when we had Martin Joel, everyone was singing Martin Joel, Martin Joel, Martin Joel. When we had Pochettino, he's magic, When we had Conte, Antonio. Then we had... And now we've got Ange. Oh, Ange Postecoglou. Harry, I've seen this happen many, many times before.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to believe that things are different this time under this ownership?
I get that, and I totally understand that. Obviously, you've been following Spurs a lot longer than I can, so I can totally get that. But I'm looking at what I'm seeing now, and I think we've got the right manager in Postecoglou, the first manager to play attacking football since your Pochettino, and Pochettino's obviously with the new stadium, or whatever you kind of put that down to. When we needed the additional players, it wasn't supplied for Pochettino. I think we've seen it supplied for Ange. And just things like the club think about the long term, which just hasn't been done. You look at players like Sarah and Doggy, and just our recruitment style from Vicario from 70 million, for Kulusevski for under 30 million euros.
We had a good summer window. We had a good summer window.
Yeah.
But again, what's that achieved? Okay, we're back in. We're going to get
question to you, Steph.
I've seen. You're gone. Go for it.
Yeah. I've got a question for you. So, obviously, you mentioned the youth there, and I totally agree, and I'm an advocate for giving the youth a chance. But when would you give them a chance? Because obviously, you want to arguably treat all the domestic cups seriously. And obviously, you mentioned that. When do you give them a chance? Because we know the second team's just not good enough.
We were 4-0 up against Newcastle. They were completely depleted. They didn't have any more subs to make because they'd made them all. Trippier was having an absolute disaster class. That game was done and dusted. 25, 30 minutes to go. Bring on Santiago. Bring on a Donnelly. Bring on a Dorrington. Instead, we bring on Højbjerg, who costs us a goal.
Yeah.
And then we bring on one of the youngsters or two of the youngsters with 3-4 minutes to go. That was a golden opportunity to say, go on the pitch, This game's done. Don't worry about your performance. You know, we've won this game. Show us what you got. Go make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake, it's on me. We didn't do it.
No, I'd agree with you. Absolutely. That is the type of game where you go, this is the opportunity to do it, where the game's done. And for me, it's not that kind of cup competitions. It's been great, obviously, because I think we can all kind of agree that the Carabao Cup second round, it wasn't treated seriously. Again, whatever you put that down to, I think that's up to individual fans' opinions, but it wasn't treated seriously. We disrespected Fulham, the competition, and we went out. Simple as that. And Burnley and City, Ange Postecoglou's lineup was a lot stronger. We treated it seriously.
So what was the reason for us having one shot in 100 minutes of football against Man City at home in our only chance of winning silverware this season?
It's very frustrating, and it was a game where we played really well defensively, but we just didn't offer anything going forward, which is strange. I think it's the fact that obviously City won the treble last season, very, very strong team. But you look at the team out on the pitch, you should go, we should be beating that. So a large amount of it's down to Andrew. Obviously picks the team. Substitutions, I think, are questionable. So yeah, it was disappointing because for me, but it's one of those games you go long bar over the top to Werner, and it honestly could have been a different outcome. The amount of runs he made. So it was it's a missed opportunity still, but all things considered, there's no shame in being knocked out to Man City, but there is when you don't lay a glove on them. Ange Postecoglou maybe made a mistake with these substitutions. His in-game management for me wasn't strong enough, so it's a missed opportunity. But we fixed on the league.
I want to question this. So
come,
you're saying it's a missed opportunity. I've heard this for 24 years, right? So this is to me, this is nothing new that I'm hearing, right? You say he should have made different substitutions, like what? What would you have done differently?
Well, personally, me, I would have brought Gill on for Johnson because Johnson wasn't effective in that moment in time. Gill, low sense of gravity, drop of the shoulder. We just lack that energy, that creativity. And for me, whatever you think of Gill, he brings that. And he could go out to Brighton on loan. I would have brought him on. Obviously, I would have brought Maddison on. I think he was worrying to kind of see. He didn't want the ball that much. He was rushed back too early.
Harry, can I just say, sorry, Harry, can I just interject here? Brian Gill played against Man City when we drew 3-3, and he came off because he was having a disaster. Yeah. And Maddison came on, and he was non-existent. He clearly wasn't match fit. Yeah. So those subs you made, those subs you talk about, for me, I don't see how that works. Right? I personally feel that we didn't have the players on the bench, and the players on the pitch need to prove their worth. So the signings that were so good this summer and January, like the Timo Werners and like the Brennan Johnsons, offered nothing. We'll talk about Richie in a minute because I know you want to talk about him. And the midfield, good players like Kuhn and Bentancur didn't have the best of games. But Højbjerg, who doesn't want to be here, is being played because what else do we do unless we give a youngster a chance against Man City? So maybe there's a little bit of question, some questions for Ange. But isn't it deeper than that? Isn't it just a case of this is what we do at Spurs under this ownership, this failure, this mindset of not winning trophies? There's a culture ingrained in the club under this ownership that doesn't have the belief, the ambition, or that burning desire to really win trophies. Because I remember when Arteta took over Arsenal, that Arsenal team wasn't great. Yet they beat City and they beat Chelsea to win the cup. They had spirit. They had something within their DNA that says, we've got to win this. And Arteta isn't the manager that Ange is. I'm not going to buy that for a second. Yet he beat City and Chelsea. With Spurs, under this ownership, Harry, this always happens. Whether it's Poch losing to Colchester in the cup or Genk, whether it's Conte losing to Sheffield United away, whether it's Mourinho losing to Norwich at home in the FA Cup when Eric Dyer ran in the stands, and Norwich got relegated that season. For me, it doesn't matter who's the manager. Under this ownership, the culture is broken. The fabric, the DNA of Tottenham for me is broken. And I saw it again. I believe in Ange. I think he can bring us glory. I don't believe the club. I don't believe the corridors of Tottenham breed that extra spirit, ambition to make it happen. And when I saw Timo Werner sign for Spurs, I thought that sums it up for me. That's not ambition. That's a 6-month cover over the cracks, cover over the cracks, hope for the best, and come the big moment, come the big day, Timo, along with others, That's what you get.
No, I get that. And I want to mention Timo Werner first, right? Because you hear the way Postecoglou speaks. Yeah, he's a player that I personally think he's identified, but we don't really know that, right? But his pace suits the system. Yeah, okay, he couldn't finish a lot of chances for Chelsea, but a lot of pressure was put on him, whereas he'd probably be used more as an impact player for Spurs. And with Son away, it just made so much sense. It's a no-risk, potential high reward. We've got a good deal, 17, 18 million. If it does work out, he's pace suited. And I honestly think it was, again, you put that on the manager, the players on the pitch, the amount of times that Werner should have received the ball. So for me, he done all he can, make those runs, test Cole Walker, stretch the back four of Manchester City. He'd done that, but he wasn't helped by his team.
When he did get on the ball, other than one through ball that was quite good, other than that, when he did get on the ball, didn't take on a man, kept passing backwards, couldn't get a decent crossing.
That's right, but he hadn't been involved in the game at all, so he wasn't sharp. When he got the ball, his first touch wasn't good enough because he hadn't been used enough in the game to give. You see, in the game, so he's warmed up for the game.
Harry, if you're not, one minute, if you're not in the game and the ball comes to you, why does that stop you from crossing a ball?
No, it definitely doesn't. But what I'm saying is he didn't get enough opportunities. I think Werner and Johnson are players that at the end of the season we judge.
But when he got the ball, he failed to drive forward and put a cross in. He failed to beat his man. There was one moment where he dribbled, gone to the side. You're thinking, right, lay it off or shoot. And he passed it sideways. I'm thinking, where is the quality in this player? Is it not a case that the only reason Timo Werner is at this club, the only reason is because he's free? And if we'd given Ange 30, 40 million pounds and we said, Ange, there's the budget, what winger would you like? Timo's not going to be at the club, is he?
I personally think he would be because I think the pace suits the system, but I get that. I get you saying he's for free.
If given 40 million pounds, you think he would have picked Timo still if he was given 40 million pounds?
I think in a January transfer window where business is tough, Werner would have been identified by Ange Postecoglou and everyone around him, and including the board, as someone who really suits the system. I'm not saying we would have signed someone else, but Werner would have been included in
Harry,
that.
So this is Harry. See, you've answered the question, but you've avoided answering it. If Ange, in your opinion, it's just opinions, if Ange was given 40 million pounds, because we're the FFP Kings, Profit and Sustainability Champions, if he was given 40 million pounds in January and told 30 million pounds even, what wide player would you like? And we'll try and get them. If he was given that money, do you think Timo Werner would have been, that's the guy I want?
Well, firstly, I just want to say the money was spent in the summer, and like I said, the recruitment was part of it. The recruitment was good, and we saved some money.
Harry, hypothetically, no, you're deflecting. You're deflecting. If you're Ange Postecoglou, I'm Daniel Levy, and I give you 30 million pounds as a budget, and I say, Harry, Ange, you've got 30 million pounds for January to spend on a wide player. Who do you want? You think Ange said, I want Werner, don't worry about the money, it's free. Do you honestly believe Werner would have been the one we got? I'm
not saying that, but I'm saying he generally transfer window. As I said, when business is tough, I think Levy and Co would have gone to Ange, right? So it's tough. There's not a lot of players out there. True. You've got Timo Werner, right? It's no risk, potential high rewards. We get him on loan. If it doesn't, listen, it doesn't work. He goes straight back to Leipzig. Perfect. If it does work, then we can sign him permanently. There's a win-win for everyone involved, including
it's costed us. It's a win-win, low risk. Yet he's part of the reason that we were at the FA Cup. He's not the reason, but he's part of the reason. So, how is it low risk? And you still haven't answered the question. If I gave you 30 million pounds and I said you can buy a wide player, do you think Ange would have said, "Yes, I want Timo Werner. That's the player I want. Don't worry about the money."
Business is tough in January, so yes would have been the answer because there's not anyone else available. Timo Werner, club identified, perfect option. It's not about the money.
You don't know who's available.
Yeah, that suits the system. Money's irrelevant.
We don't know. No, it is relevant because the fact we brought him, I think it is because he's free. Because I'll tell you what I think's what's happened. Because I've been here before. I've seen this with Danjuma. I've seen this with Solomon. I've seen it with Clement Longley, where these cheap freebie type deals that come in on this stopgap approach, come in, do nothing, and then everyone says, oh, well, that didn't work out. But when they come in, good bit of business, smart, low risk. Danjuma, we finished 8th. Clement Longley, we finished 8th. What's his other
But you're
name?
putting one player down to where we finished. Timo Werner, for example, Friday, he wasn't given a chance. His performance for me was good. He just wasn't involved in the game.
How is it good? No goals, no assists. How's it good?
Well, the team performance, you said it yourself. It's one of the you can't contradict yourself. He said it's one of the worst performances you've seen, and you can't pin that on one individual who tried his best to make runs. He wasn't feeded in. And Ange Postecoglou needs to change the tactics to involve Timo Werner because his pace would have really been interesting up against Carl Walker.
You just said to me that Timo Werner was bought because he fixed the tactics. Now you're saying Ange has to change the tactics for Timo. So why
but he suits the system in terms of his pace, but we need to utilise that pace by utilising and using to our advantage.
You're saying to change the system way. You're saying to change the system.
Stout, you don't play the same way Manchester City as you do Sheffield. You should adjust your tactics every game. We know that. That's one of the things I think could let Ange Postecoglou down. There's nothing to do with the owners.
But Ange has told us. The owners brought in Ange. Ange told us
right decision. Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Ange Postecoglou told us we brought in Timo Werner. Sorry, Ange Postecoglou told us this is how I play. This is how we do it. I don't change for no one. You then told me we know what Ange is going to do. He's told us how he's going to play. You then told me we brought in Timo because he's perfect for the system, and now you're saying Ange needs to change the system to suit Timo.
No. Right,
you see the contradiction in what you're saying?
I understand where you're coming from, but okay.
You're trying to justify us bringing in Timo on a free because what you won't do is maybe acknowledge, not admit, but acknowledge that if Ange was given proper money, Timo wouldn't have been the guy.
Which has been. It was in the summer.
Not for a wide player. Not for a wide player.
We might have not wanted a wide player. We still bought some fantastic. We all agree we needed a number 10. Was bought in. We got a top goalkeeper and saved ourselves some money while we're there. We bought in Van Ven, the quickest in the Bundesliga last season.
Harry, we're talking about January.
Where business is tough, yeah.
Right. Well, Liverpool signed Diaz, Jota, Van Dijk.
Because they weren't because they came with an incredible offer. They weren't wanted, contract.
All these players were signed in January. Okay, let me use your argument. It's hard to do business in January. So why have we got Scott Munn, Paratici, Johan Lange,
they're not players,
Kenzie, Data, and that 1 minute? They've had 2 months. The team to analyze the market. They know that Son, Basuma, Pape Sarr are going to be away. They know that there's injuries in the club. They might not be back to end of January, February. Are you telling me this data analytics team with Ange said, Timo?
Yes, because he suits the system with his pace. They would have identified still.
So why are you saying Ange needs to change the system for him?
Because you have to change your system in every. Without Werner, we should have changed it. The ball over the top would have been Johnson and others.
But Harry,
I get that. But listen, you like Ange, right? So you've got to admit that maybe I'm wrong, but I just think Timo Werner for me suits the system. He's some of the clubs identify. And you listen to the way Ange speaks, right? You're behind him. Ange it's a fantastic transfer window. We've got cover pretty much in every position. We've got Drogsin, 21, perfect career for player and all clubs involved. Whether he makes a step up to Barcelona, Bayern Munich, we have to see. But for right now, he's the right move for Tottenham, and we've got him on the bench. Any injuries, perfect. There's no excuse of there's no backup. We got there and got a number 10. People moan we didn't get one for Conte and Mourinho. We didn't play that way, right? With someone like Timo Werner, for Harry Kane, you have to change the way he plays. Drop deeper. There's no one to cross in the box. There'd be less crosses. You adapt your game for every single player on the pitch. Absolutely. We adapt our game with inverted fullbacks. So it's just about utilising every player possible. Werner, classy player, great pace, suits the system. Maybe not be able to finish his dinner, but I think that's something Ange can work on. Not saying he can score 40 goals a season, but that can be improved. Cool, calm, and the right decision in the final third. We've got our man. We've had a good transfer window, and I'm satisfied. Also, still, we've got players out the door. We've got money off the books, and that for me is why it's been a top window. Better than most clubs, any other club in the Premier League. It's been the best one.
Harry, I'm not debating about the window in the summer. I'm not debating about the quality of signings. I was just going on this Timo Werner thing. I disagree with you on this, respectfully. I don't believe you change your system for the players you've got. I think you bring in players and keep players that suit the system that you want to play. Klopp only signed players that played Klopp ball. Pep only signs players that plays Pep ball. If we're going to bring in players...
No, hang on, can I just stop you there? They have to adapt for Haaland. They have to adapt for Haaland because they have to involve Haaland. There's times where Haaland's quiet, right? They have to go more crosses in the box for Haaland. Don't tell me City played the same way as they did for Jesus. It's a false night as they did for Haaland. You adapt the way you play for every player. We have to involve our best players. Simple as that.
Harry,
it's basic tactics, different opposition. Guardiola adapts his tactics every game. He knows what he's doing. We've gone to Tottenham, tight up at the back.
Pep Guardiola, from when he was the youth manager at Barca to Barcelona manager, Bayern Munich, Man City, he has always played possession-based, quick, one-touch, two-touch football, regardless.
There's more crosses with Haaland.
He plays a very similar system. Whether the balls come in from the wide, from the middle, his tactic is always the same, is to dominate the game and pin you in, right? This notion that we change the way we play to suit Timo Werner.
Possession bit still, balls over the top, which they will do exactly the same for Haaland. You don't play the same way Manchester City and Newport County. You play different ways.
Timo Werner got on the ball. He got on the ball in the second half. In the second half, Timo Werner got on the ball.
Not enough. Not enough. No, not much at all, but nor did anyone else on the pitch. It was a general poor performance still, and I can admit that's down to the manager. He had plenty of players available, considering we have AFCON, and maybe it was a wrong team.
The reason we you're saying the reason we played badly against Man City is because of Ange.
Right, you take your words out my mouth. I've never said Ange Postecoglou.
No, you said it's because of the manager, Harry. You said it's because of
No, I say he's responsible for the team selection, and ultimately we lost the game. In-game management, very important part in changing the game, right? You can't pin it on the. You can't pin on the owners that we got players away from the AFCON, right? Son, Saar, Basuma, 3 key players. You have them all in, we have a good chance against Manchester City. We've been unlucky with the time in the game still. Madison's not fully fit. With a fully fit team, we have a right guy at City, and we don't have one shot. It's just sometimes it's down to luck in football. It's a large part.
Who do you blame for us losing the Carabao Cup?
Ange Postecoglou, who picked the starting 11.
Who do you blame for us losing the FA Cup to Man City?
Ange Postecoglou, maybe, or the players on the pitch. Done.
You know we've been blaming managers.
No, wait. Let's be clear. I'm not blaming Ange for the defeat, but I'm blaming Ange for the starting 11. We lose you lose the game 1-0. You have to
who's to blame for the loss?
Selection.
I just said who do you blame for the loss?
Partly Ange Postecoglou and the players. I'm not going to sit and go, oh, everything's rosy. Yeah, we get knocked out of the FA Cup. We only had one shot, right? Everyone takes responsibility for that, players included. I expected better. Kulusevski, poor. Ben Scott, that was poor. See, what City done well, still, talking a bit of tactics here, is they stopped our inverted fullbacks from inverting, basically. And I was thinking, travelling up to the game, I was thinking, right, if City are clever, they stop the inverted fullbacks from inverting. And I don't know why a lot of clubs haven't thought of that. Pep Guardiola, a very clever manager and tactician, they stopped our fullbacks, and then we have no plan B. That is on the manager. For me, plan B was little ball over the top to Timo Werner, and we just couldn't adjust.
So Ange
Postecoglou for that certain tactic that he didn't deploy in the game. Stubbornness.
Do you blame the tactic for us not winning?
I think the tactics could have been changed. Yes. Answer your question. Yes. That's not. Right. It's on the manager. The manager has to take the blame. When you lose a game, managers always at fault.
Listen, Harry. Yes. There's no wrong or right answer. If you blame Ange, that's you're allowed to have that.
I love the guy, but I think sometimes he can change his team selection for certain games.
Listen, I've been hearing managers being blamed for the last 24 years. I've watched 17 managers come in and out. All of them were to blame. I'm just at a different place than you, Harry. By the way, blaming Ange isn't wrong. It's not something you can't do, right? But for me, I've heard this for 24 years and 17 different managers. So we can agree to disagree on who we think's at fault for that, right?
Absolutely.
I want to ask you one more thing about Levy and the ownership, and then I want to get onto some players that I know you wanted to talk about. By the way, guys, make sure you subscribe, like to Harry's channel, young content creator. He's only going to get better at the content and the shows he's invited on. So make sure you like and subscribe.
Thank you.
The one thing I wanted to bring up with the owners, with Levy and Enoch, do you think, in your opinion, under their ownerships, they've been in charge for 24 years, do you think they have improved the club? Is Tottenham doing better under them, or do you think they've taken us backwards, or do you think same old, same old?
No, it's a good question. Obviously, I've only been following football for the last 4 or 5 years. So it's hard for me to comment from what I can see, though. Being honest, I feel secure under Daniel Levy and Enoch, and you may again disagree strongly, but you look at someone like your Chelsea's, whether it's under Roman Abramovich or now we're talking.
Your camera frozen. Oh no, it's not frozen. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So, oh no worries at all. So what I was going to say is that Chelsea, you know, with Todd Bowley or with Roman Abramovich, right? For me, you never feel that they're secure because they can always spend too much money. FFP. So I know with Spurs, with Daniel Levy and Inick, partly down to the new stadium, we're in safe hands. So I'll never sit here and go, what about if we get a points deduction? So it's a nice feeling to be able to sleep at night going, we're not in trouble financially. Do I wish like we got, I don't know, extra players when Pochettino needed it? Yes. Of course, every owner make mistakes, and some managerial appointments from Stellini, from Mourinho to Nuno have been bad. I get that. I think owners do that. I think Todd Bowley done it with Graham Potter. Never really understood why. Frank Lampard towards the end of the season. I think we've secured that top four kind of spot. So we're a lot more secure club under the ownership. So I'm happy at the moment. To be fair, we're playing good football. And we're secure. We played it right with FFP. So I think I'm not just excited about now, but I'm thinking 3-4 years down the line, we'll be able to really spend because we played it right with FFP. So to answer your question, yes, I feel more secure with Levy. And this is what I want right now. And yeah, a lot of people want Saudi Arabian owners because of the money, for example, or Qatari owners, Qatari sports investment, right? And they bring money. And I totally get why you think that, right? Some would argue the ethics, etc. behind it. But the way I look at it is they could spend too much and you could get in trouble with FFP. So maybe we play it right. And whatever you think of Daniel Levy, he's not stupid. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get business.
Yeah, I agree. He knows what he's doing.
This is why I thought you agree. Well, I actually get people's thoughts on Levy.
I think he's brainwashed. I think he's brainwashed everyone. I think it's a masterclass in PR and
deal. It looks like, I mean, I'm sitting here going, it's not going to happen, and he jumps in and he deals with it. He loves negotiating. He's a difficult man still, right? As someone who has obviously backed him throughout the show and beyond, right? I wouldn't want to deal with him in the room. He's blooming difficult. He'd get the best deal for him and the club as possible.
Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing if clubs don't want to deal with him?
It depends which way it's kind of. I totally get your question, but yeah, I think he'll always get the best deal he can possible. Sometimes you'll lose out on players. We've lost out on players over the years, your Grealishes, etc., where we just haven't perhaps paid the money. So it's been some really, really frustrating moments, being honest with you, over the years. But also get Porro done.
So what I've heard from you is, my question was, has this ownership taken the club forward, backwards, or the same? And
yes, forward.
I just want to touch on that. What I've heard from you was business, money, negotiations, deals. So from just someone listening to what you've said, yes, he's taken the business and the company forward. But from a footballing
I get this argument.
So from a footballing perspective, has he taken Tottenham forward? 24 years he's had, longer than any other Spurs chairman in history, longer than any other Premier League chairman in English football. Yeah. In the maximum time he's had compared to everyone else, has he taken us forward in terms of football?
I think it's taken us a long while to get there. I believe you asked this question in 2-3 years' time. I go, yes, because I think it's obviously taken its time. It really has. But I think generally we can.
Leicester won a league in 10 years.
Yeah. No, I get that. But I think the new stadium is a game changer for us and the money it brings. I totally get it in terms of football club. But so you build the business, you bring the money and you spend the money. Whether you think the money's been spent accurately or not, I leave it up to you. But for example, in Ndombele, we spent big and it just didn't work. That was money spent, but not well spent. That's poor recruitment, the right investment, but poor recruitment. So again, that's where it's got to be done carefully. That was a mistake, and I think we've learned from that.
Who hires the recruitment team, Harry? Who hires the recruitment team?
Absolutely. I think Steve Hitchin was probably one of the worst things to happen to the club in terms of him coming in. Levy was very respectful of a colleague, if you like, someone who worked for him.
Whilst watching us spend 65 million, so he was respectful of Hitchin.
You look at Spurs Twitter. I didn't, but a lot of Spurs fans wanted Ndombele. Like, why aren't we spending the money? And when fans can't have it their own way. Why aren't we spending the money? And then when we do, and Ndombele, why hasn't it worked?
Spurs fans go by YouTube. I'd ignore what Spurs fans think. They go off of what YouTube says. Right. Yeah. I would argue that as a business, as an investment that was £100 million, which is what they paid to buy the business, that is now worth 3-4 billion. I think they've taken the company, the business, forward humongously, and only they have benefited from it because Daniel Levy is the highest paid chairman in England, who wins the least. Yeah. We've got a company valuation, if they sell it tomorrow, they're billionaires. Well, Levy will be, Joe Lewis already is, and they've increased their wealth, and the cash flow we create allows them to put down security. For example, there's a £200 million down payment, so we can borrow 800 million to build the stadium. All I see, what they've done with Spurs, is use it to increase their financial power, their wealth, and take a business that they own, that they can sell at any point, to a higher level. From a footballing perspective, Harry, I want to show you something, because I've been supporting this club for a long time, and then tell me what you think off the back of this, right?
Go on.
So what I've got is a chart here. It's a 25-year period in blocks since the start of the century. So that should say 1900, not 1901, right? So if I look at it from a footballing perspective, so trophies, how many times you finish top four, and your average league position, these are the basic footballing measurements that history judges clubs by. The first 25 years, 5 trophies, top four 6 times, average position 7th. The next 25 years, trophies about the same. Top four, we improved. We declined a little bit, only 4 times. League position slightly up. From 51 to 75, in terms of average league position, about the same. Top four, we massively fell off on average, but the amount of trophies was the most successful period in our history. The last quarter before the millennium, again, 5 trophies, top 4 6, average league position 9th. So you could say it's pretty consistent. We normally win between 5 to 6 trophies on average every 25 years. Top 4 is, you'd say the average is about 6 there. And average league position, 6 times top 4. And the average league position is about 7th. Under Levy and Enoch, league position pretty much stayed the same. You'd say slightly better, right? But it's there or thereabouts. In terms of top 4, again, the average. But that trophy bit, Harry, we have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah,
we are living off our history. So when I look at trophies, top 4, average league position, I think they've taken us backwards, because top 4 and league position is roughly the same as the last 4 blocks of 25 years. But the trophy count, they have been horrendous. And when I look at chances to have won trophies, when Redknapp needed a couple of players to get over the line, they didn't.
I get that. Yeah.
When Poch needed backing, when we were on the brink, 2 years of not buying players, and we sold Ndombele without replacing him. And then I look at Conte and Mourinho, checkbook managers. You know how they operate. You know what they're going to need. You bring them in and you give them Doherty's, Spence, Clement Longlay's, Danjuma's, Carlos Vinicius. And then we wonder why they fell. And even then, the manager gets us to a final, Mourinho, and he gets sacked 5 days before the final. So from a footballing perspective, how can anyone defend this ownership?
No, I totally get that, and that's why I've someone who I've been saying for a long while, Daniel Levy, to step away from the football side and let someone else kind of do that, because I think he's very good at business, and maybe football not for him, and that's something I still probably say to this day. But what I will say to trophies again, and what that table doesn't show you, and this is not an excuse or anything. We got to Champions League final again. Credit to Pochettino, we've done that. We got to a few semi-finals, so we've been very unlucky. Again, whatever you put that down to, we've been the nearly team, and it's been lots of rival clubs that laughed at us. We've been really, really frustrating. What I want to see, Stel,
Harry,
is 5-10 years time.
I'm lucky. So when Ange goes out the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, that's on Ange. But every time we've missed out finals, that's just bad luck.
Yeah, absolutely, Stel. Because Fulham, the starting level, we made 7. No, wait, listen, we made.
Who didn't start? Who started an injured Harry Kane in the Champions League final, Harry?
The manager. Yeah.
So how is that bad luck?
Because I haven't got to it yet. I'll give you a chance to get to it. Wait. I was saying a Fulham second round game is on Ange. He makes that many changes and we suffer. We disrespect the competition. Done. Pochettino, incredible to get to Champions League final. Incredible job by a top individual. Done very, very well. For me, personally, you make the wrong choice. But again, can you imagine if we went out and we hadn't played Harry Kane? Oh, yeah, played our best player. It's one of those you can't win either way, right?
But that never happened. But that never happened. We can't talk about what might have happened. We know what happened. He did start Kane and we lost. So how is that bad?
A handball decision goes our way, and for me, it's a completely different game. So arguably, we could have 2 or 3 to
by the letter of the law, it was a handball and a penalty. So
wouldn't be given now.
that's like saying if Spurs had a second shot against Man City and it went in a different game. You can't say that.
No, but the handball rule
let's
changed
stick to the facts.
on the back of that because they realised that hang on, this is wrong. This shouldn't be given. It's one of those
rules change every year. The handball rule has changed every year. VAR rules have changed every year.
Back, right? Surely it's usually unlucky if it hits your arm. Sissoko's pointing, or whatever it was. It's Danny Rose to get back, right? And it's hit his arm. That's just very unlucky. We've had a horrible start to the game and we never recovered.
So you think starting Harry Winks and Moussa Sissoko in centre mid was bad luck in the Champions League final?
Never said that, but I think we were very unlucky on the night. Two bad teams, two bad performances, an awful Champions League final.
Two bad teams. Liverpool finished 27 points ahead of us that season.
Look at both. I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about the performance. It was an awful Champions League final. You can't question that.
So Spurs putting in a bad performance in the Champions League final is bad luck. But when Spurs put in a bad performance against Man City in the FA Cup, that's on Ange.
No, I get where you're coming from, right? But against City, it's not to do with luck. It'd be due to luck if we had 20 shots, 10 on target, and we couldn't score. Okay, we were a bit unlucky,
right? How many shots
did
we have in the Champions League final, Harry?
Wait, I don't know. I honestly don't know. If so long ago, I have no idea. No idea.
Harry,
and maybe we would like to get to the Champions League final, absolutely. But a large amount of football is down to luck. But Fulham, I don't want to even see anyone say it's down to luck. Ange Postecoglou decided to make that many changes. We suffered the consequence by going out the competition. He disrespected the competition. He disrespected Fulham. Went strong against Burnley. Went strong against Man City. Man City is one of those games you go, if we had all our players available. But however, we didn't lay a glove on them. Disappointed the players on the pitch. Call it out.
We signed Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson. These amazing players. Where were they in the game? You know,
where was Bentancur? Where's Kulusevski? Where was anyone? We see easy to blame individuals. I know as fans have to have scapegoats, but
no, we don't scapegoats. We're applying logic here. We spent £50 million on Brennan Johnson. Where was he in the game? Everyone said he was the worst player in the day.
With all due respect, I think Brennan Johnson. He was Richarlison. Now it's Brennan Johnson. It probably be Solomon when he comes back. There's always players that scapegoat, so we just need to get behind one of our own still, right? Surely you believe though, get behind one of our own players.
How is it scapegoating players who have bad performances? They played badly. That's not scapegoating. We're saying they played badly. How is it unlucky sacking Mourinho 5 days before?
No, I'm not saying singling them out, right?
Okay, we said Van de Ven
was unlucky. I didn't say it was unlucky. I don't agree with the decision. Maybe you should have gone out early before. That's the wrong decision.
If we're going to praise Van de Ven for having a fantastic game, if we're going to praise Udogie for having a good game, why can't we criticise Richie and Johnson and others for having a bad game? Why can't we do that? Why do you call that scapegoating?
Go way beyond Stel, right? And some of the accusations.
You're talking to me,
right? Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to call them out. Listen.
No, don't
I get that.
I'm the one
you may post about Johnson, not singling him out. He's been awful. Basically, get rid of him. In summary, you're singling out an individual player.
No, I've singled out many. Richie, Timo, Brennan. I thought Akula and Bentancur didn't have good games. I'm criticising players that didn't play well. I don't understand how that is on Ange, and yet when Poch or another manager does similar, that's bad luck. Was it bad luck sacking Mourinho 5 days before a cup final? Was that bad luck? Or was that a chairman's awful decision that cost us? Because he put Ryan Mason, aged 29 years old. And for the record, Harry, when Ryan Mason was put in charge of the cup final, I had more coaching badge qualifications than Ryan Mason going into that game. Because he wasn't even UEFA qualified. Was that bad luck? Just asking a question, not trying to come at you. I'm asking a question. Either I've frozen or Harry's frozen. Hello, Harry. Guys, can you tell me in the chat if I'm frozen or if Harry's frozen? Because I don't know. He's frozen. Harry, come out of the chat and come back in, and then I'll do. Oh, there he is. All right, I think we've got Harry back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
That's all right.
I wanted my Wi-Fi to stop. What happened there?
So my question was. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You're back now. My question was it bad luck sacking Jose Mourinho 5 days before a cup final?
No, and listen, I called that decision. Yeah, poor decision by the board. I'm not afraid, but it doesn't define them. Do you know what I mean? As owners, I'm not sit here and go, "It's disgraceful." Get out.
Harry, but it does define them because we've only won one trophy, and that decision potentially cost us.
It's not everything about trophies. I think fans make a lot of things about trophies. It's about progressing on and off the pitch. Financially, we're in a better place. A new stadium, which would be a game changer. Youth Academy, I think, will be huge in to come. We've got a lot to look forward to for the future. We've got the right manager.
Harry, and there lies the problem. And this is why I said to you at the start of the show, the culture at Tottenham is broken. For you
but you think there's something wrong with the culture when you call out, and I'm not saying you, but you individuals, right, about Brennan Johnson, because there's a lot of fans who have tweets saved in their draft ready to criticise them, right? You can criticise an individual. I've been told he smokes, he vapes, he's not fit, he's a disgrace. Some of the things people come with. One second. Is awful.
Harry, we'll get on to players and their treatment and how they're spoken to, and we will have that quick chat. But for you to say, and do you know what, Harry, what you've just said, it's not just about the trophies, FFP this, that, progression this. When I hear that, I genuinely feel sorry for you and all young Spurs fans. I've got a lot of young players that I coach or young Spurs fans that I know who are teenagers, some in their early 20s. I feel so sorry. And I mean this isn't me trying to be condescending on anything. I genuinely feel sorry for your generation because you have grown under a regime that has taught you it's about the money. It's about youngsters academy. It's about being sustainable and doing it ethically. And the ethic bit I agree with, but the sustainability and the money and the FFP. And I feel so sorry for you guys because I honestly believe you guys are so consumed having been educated and taught that way. You haven't experienced the glory. You haven't experienced Spurs winning trophies. You haven't been to a winning cup parade. You don't know what it really means, and you don't know what it does for us against our rivals. You've grown up, Harry, being called Spursy. I've never had that bottle job. I actually honestly feel when and this isn't a criticism. I hear loads of young fans say it. I even hear people in their 30s say it, and that alarms me. That worries me. When I hear fans say it's not about the trophies, it's about look at us, look at the progression, look at the money. When I hear that, Harry, that to me is why we've only got that one trophy under this regime, because the fans justify it. They say it's okay because there's other things that are important. Can you kind of see where I'm coming from with that? Or is it just kind of just gone over your head like, Stel, shut up, you're wrong?
Not at all, Stel. No, I completely agree where you're coming from, and it is sad. I haven't seen a major trophy, and when I tell a lot of people end up laughing, and it is sad. But I'm someone who doesn't just look at now, but I look at the future. And if you ask me honestly, Stel, by 2030, do you think we'll win a trophy? Absolutely. And I think we'll win more than one as well. I think we've got the right manager to take us to that next level. And a large amount of what we're doing this season is on the manager, convincing players to join Tottenham over Bayern Munich and Radu Drogsin. Ange Postecoglou is a very, very key influence. However, I'm also someone, right, who loves Postecoglou, but also can call out when he makes mistakes against Fulham. So there is that kind of fine line. But I understand where you're coming from. It's been frustrating, but I honestly sit here right now and this is something I've been saying for a while now. I think the future is bright, and it's not because of the owners, but it's about the recruitment. It's about the players that we've brought in, the manager that we've got. I look at this now and go, I'm excited for 2-3 years' time. I really am. I think trophies will come.
If Spurs win FA Cups, Premier Leagues, European trophies, 100%. It's because of the owners. It's because they've put the structure in place. They've put the manager in place. They've backed the manager. They've built a squad.
What I'm trying to say is that the structure's coming into place this season. Too late, yes, but it's happening now.
Harry,
I think.
when I see, I've been here before, right? I'm not saying we won't win trophies. I think Ange might win a Carabao Cup. I do not believe he's going to win a league title.
Who's that on? Is it down to the board for supplying him with the tools to go and win that trophy?
No, it's sorry, what was the question, Harry?
That's right. My question was, surely that's also down to the owners, though, but supplying Andrew the tools to be able to go and win the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, 100%. If we win the Carabao Cup, I will praise the owners. But for me, Harry, A Carabao Cup, I will take it. I will take a Carabao Cup over top 4. I don't know about you. Would you take top 4 or Carabao
Yeah,
Cup?
absolutely. Listen, if someone defends Daniel Levy, I get called out for a lot.
Positive.
I would.
That's a
I
good
get told.
you frozen
get told
again.
all the time still, your top four guy, here we go. No, trophies come first. I said FA Cup over the league. That's why I'm absolutely devastated we're knocked out the FA Cup, and it will hurt until we're back in it next season. But I know we have a strong chance against next season. Domestic trophy, we haven't won a major trophy in 15 years. Trophies should come first. That cup for higher up and also on the pitch. But ultimately, when we disrespect the competition in Fulham, the manager does. It's disappointing to see. And again, whoever you put that down to, we need to treat domestic competition seriously.
They disrespect. Every manager before seems to disrespect. Listen, you can't blame the owners for everything. I fully agree, Harry. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But because I've seen them,
I totally get they're not innocent. I get that.
But they are the biggest problem, because it cannot be one trophy in 24 years and you've hired and fired 17 different managers, 6 different football directors, 2 different chief scouts. You've hired, fired, rebuilt, project, plan, recruitment team changes. You've kept chopping and changing, and you still get dumped out of the cups in the early round. Look, I hope you're right, Harry. I hope trophies are coming. But where I'm at, I've been here before. I've seen it before. When I saw Van der Ven play, Vicario play. Hear me out. When I saw Vicario play, Van der Ven play, the Doge, I thought, brilliant. But then when I see Brennan Johnson, I see Richie, I see Timo, and I see these players, I know that is going to hold us back from beating Liverpool, from beating Man City, and that's the competition we have to deal with. You cannot keep doing that, but we still do. So to me, the culture is still not right. And I don't think it will ever be right under these owners, because they will always have that weird lack of ambition required. Look, in 2 years' time, we might be having this debate again, and you'll say to me, Stel, what did I tell you? And we might be here as Premier League champions, and I'll be saying, Harry, you called it, man. Well done, Daniel Levy.
I'd like to come back
until I see it, I can't sit there and do what you do, and many fans do it. I believe, I know, I think. I've been there, I've done it, Harry.
Yeah, and I get that. It's the hope that kills. I get that.
I've seen that Man City game play out too many times for me to think, oh, yeah, it's changing. I'm not on board. I was on board. I'm not on board anymore. I'm going to support the team. I'm going to backhand, because I never blame the managers. But I do not believe things have changed yet, Harry. I don't. And it's good that you do. You keep your belief, by the way. I don't want to ruin your dreams. I don't want to do that.
No.
You tears.
I totally get that. Listen, Levy's and co, so many mistakes over the years. I totally get that, right? But I actually think that a switch has been flicked since the summer transfer window. Just the appointment of Postecoglou for a start, but to go out there and just the players we've signed personally, again, some we don't know yet, and just shifting players out the door. And it's like Levy accepting we're not going to get an initial fee for Dyer, whereas you usually would have held out for little things like that where I go, maybe this is a change, man. I don't necessarily think it's Daniel Levy. It's the recruitment team. Obviously, Jonathan Large, for me, a big part of that. So I almost think Levy
we got rid of 13 players. We got rid of 13 players under Conte.
Yeah. So it's a lot of players. It's a lot of players. I think this window, for me, was
what
players who got out the door in terms of your Perisic's, your Dyers, your Lloris, all needed to go, and whether they don't suit the system, they've been at the club too long, or there's a load of things it all comes down to. But they've all right for the player, for the club, and the club has said them is the right thing.
But Harry, when you get rid of these types of players, like Lamellas and all these players, and you bring in Timos and Johnsons, like really, like it's almost like you're getting rid of the rubbish, but you're bringing in a milder version of the rubbish. Unless you think Johnson and Timo and Richie are all going to come good.
No, listen, I get that.
Let's move on to that, because I know you want to.
Can I be honest with you? I can't.
Say again?
On who? Thoughts on who?
Yeah. You said to me you can't. What are your thoughts on Richie, Timo, and Johnson? Because for me, I don't like any of them. Yeah. I don't want any of them at Spurs. They don't cut it for me.
Firstly, I want to start with Richarlison, right? Yeah, thank you. Firstly, I want to start with Richarlison. Listen, he struggled this season. Obviously, we found out what he was playing for that injury, etc. last season, a load of other things, and he was generally struggling. So it's been great to see him before the Man City game, 6 goals in 6, and it's just great to see him playing with confidence. I'm not sitting here going, he should he should have been the Harry Kane replacement, or he's going to be our striker all the way through. But I think still he's a nice player to bring off the bench and go and to just, for me, he's a nice player to bring off the bench or to interchange. And I like that kind of flexibility we have. And what we think of our front three, they can interchange, and that's where it comes down to the manager, that a little bit of adaptability. So Richarlison for me, again, we overpaid for him like we did with Johnson. I get the fans' frustration, but that's not the individual's fault. We overpaid. I think we panicked a little bit, but we got our man, whether he was the intended target, a load of other things, obviously signed under Conte. Who knows? Timo Werner, I think he suits the system. I personally think it'll work out this season, but he'll still go back to RB Leipzig, because for now, I think I don't see it won't be the long-term replacement for Son. I think we still need to find someone like that. Etc. So there you go, Richarlison. And the other one, Brennan Johnson, I like, and I think again suits the system with his pace. Has he been underwhelming this season? Yes. Am I going to give him time? Absolutely. For me, I'll give him till the end of the season, because I think I look at the player and I go, suits the system. He needs to work on his end product, needs to work on his crosses. But
Harry, you know when you say,
I agree.
You know when you say they suit the system, but then they don't deliver in the system. Clearly, they're not good enough for the system.
No, I get that still, but you can't just flick a switch. It's just, this is like saying to Maddison, you should have scored against City, but you just come back from an injury. That isn't kind of fair. To sell into a new team, to gain the understanding of teammates, you need time.
But when does Brennan Johnson ever do well?
No, okay, I get that, but I like what I saw at Forest. Mate, be honest with you, not the player I'd have signed. I wanted Morgan Gibbs-White at the time, but we've got him. Listen. But we need to get behind our players. We don't do that. We sit here not wanting them to do well and not wanting to be proven wrong. Generally,
I get behind the players. I get behind the players. On a match day, I cheer them all. But when after the game, when I see what they've not done, I can't support them being a player at Tottenham and then in my head saying, "Yeah, we can win a league with these players."
I get that, but I just there needs to be time given. But okay, the way I look at it is a business. You get a new owner come in. He's not going to wake up tomorrow morning and go, everything's grand, everything's perfect. I'm where I want to be in 4 years' time, right? Completely different example, I know, but it takes time to develop their ideas.
But we signed Johnson under everyone. But we signed Johnson under Ange. This is the club brought him in.
That's possible to be signing again, though. Says it on the manager, not the owners.
I don't believe Brennan Johnson. I don't believe Brennan Johnson is an Ange signing. Because the club were looking at him 2 years ago.
It's in January. Obviously, the way Postecoglou speaks about Werner,
Timo Werner is the cheapest player, zero fee, that they can find that's got pace on the wing. If we were given money, we're not signing Timo.
Who else would you sign though on the left? Who else would you sign that's available in January? Still, put the question back at you. Who else is available? We need someone to cover some.
Harry, hold on. When fans say things like, "Who would you sign? Who's available?" I have no idea, nor do you, who's available. We have no idea. But if you're telling me for £30 million, our scouts, our recruitment team, you know that young kid Noosa, he's better. Oh, by the way, Noosa's gone to Brentford for 30 million, and we're the ones that got the.
Blame him. You can't blame him. It's a game time still. You can't help that kind of things out of your control. But we got lucky with that. It comes back to luck. Noosa's chose Brentford for game time. Fair play to him.
That's not luck.
Maybe he's not good enough.
That's not luck. Because he gets game time. No, that is luck, because we'd rather give Solomon and Brennan Johnson the time on the wing instead of Noosa. That's what we've committed to. We've committed to Solomon and Brennan Johnson.
He's chosen Brentford still. We can't influence a player's decision. Droxin chose Tottenham.
Yeah, but Harry, he's chosen Brentford because they're going to play him. Whereas we are committed to Johnson and Solomon. Yet Noosa, all you Spurs fans,
but you can't just get a player that nobody's heard of in his team.
He's got the best dribbling stats, but yet we're going to play Johnson ahead of him. Whose fault is that? Ours or Brentford's? So ours or Noosa's? It's ours. We're not prepared to commit. Obviously, we don't think he's that good enough then.
You can't just chuck a player in like that. I don't think he's that good from what I've seen, being honest with you. I haven't seen enough of him to really say.
Harry, you know what?
Being honest.
That's fair enough. If you don't think Noosa's good enough, then listen, I can't debate you on that. But what
I haven't seen enough to know.
All right, and you know what? And that's fair enough. I can't debate you if you don't think he's good, right? So for you then, it's a bit of a blessing in disguise. Then he's like, he's not good enough for us, or he's not ready, whatever.
I think he's ready.
With Richarlison, Harry. Harry. With Richarlison, I don't think he's good enough for Spurs, and I'll tell you why.
Fair enough.
We need players of the I know Harry Kane's impossible to replace, but the Kane, the Son, the Defoe, the Berbatov, the Robbie Keane, the levels that they're going to turn up in key games, right? Now, if I look at the league table, these are for me, well, it's a fact because that's where they are in the league. These are the top 7 clubs in England right now. So let's take Tottenham out of it. The top 6 clubs in England are Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Villa, West Ham, and Brighton. And this is why, for me, Richarlison is not he shouldn't be at the club. We've played all these 6 teams. We played Man City twice. Against Liverpool, we won. Heung-min Son scored and an own goal. Nothing from Richarlison. Against Man City, we drew 3-3. Son, Gio, and Kulu scored. Nothing from Richarlison. In the FA Cup, we lost 1-0. Nothing from Richarlison. Against Arsenal, we won 2-0. Son scored 2 goals. Nothing from Richarlison. He came on as a sub in that game.
That's last season, though.
Oh, this is this season. We drew 2-2 at Arsenal.
Oh, sorry, I thought it said 2-0. Yeah, 2-2. Yeah. Sorry.
Against Aston Villa, we lost 2-1. Gio scored. Richarlison, nothing. Against West Ham, we lost 2-1. Romero scored. Nothing from Richarlison. And then Brighton away, we lost 4-2. Villiers and Davies scored. Nothing from Richarlison. So this guy does not show or turn up against the top 6 clubs. Yet we laud him as a good option or he's worth having at the club. We need someone that can come on against Brighton, that can come on against Arsenal. And this is what I talk about, Harry. I don't care about top 4. I don't care about FFP. I don't care about any of it. How do you get over the line? How do you beat the Liverpools and the Cities to the trophies? How do we beat these big 6 teams, the top 6, when you've got a player like Richarlison who can't turn up in those games? And this is why I'm not on board yet. Because whilst we've got the Brennans, the Timos, the Richies, and it's not just them, there's other players. Whilst we've got them, we are not getting over that line.
I get it, but
they're not good enough to compete with the talent of those games.
People say Kane didn't turn up in big games, Champions League final, etc.
Harry Kane's got the record of scoring the most goals in North London derbies. He always turned up in that game. Harry Kane scored against Man United.
Didn't turn up in the Champions League final, did he?
Harry Kane scored against Liverpool at Anfield 2-3 seasons before we left.
Richarlison scored at Anfield last season. Richarlison scored at Anfield last season, though.
Harry
nearly got a point.
Okay, 1 goal last season. There we go. So off of that, it's okay now. The point I'm trying to make is that you need players that are going to turn up and do something. As much as Arsenal hated him and as much as they got him out of the club, Aubameyang turned up for them. Against City, he turned up. Harry Kane always turned up for us. Harry Kane and Son always turn up against Man City, right? They turn up. They might not always. There might be the odd game they don't, like Chelsea, for example.
No, generally. I get that, yeah.
Do you get my point? Richarlison, in these big games where you need something to come on and unlock the difference, to where's the game changers? Harry, he's not that guy.
No, I get that, but I also think it's very handy to have impact players off the bench. And I think, being honest with you, still with a fully fit team, the likes of, and this is someone who's defended Johnson, someone like you Johnsons, you Werners, probably find themselves on the bench and being used as impact players. And listen, I'm just thinking for Europe next season, we want to be, let's look at Newcastle's, your United's, your Brightons, but in particular Newcastle United, who've struggled to adjust with Champions League football, be able to, or European football and the Premier League. They struggle to do it, so that's why
it's
I want. It's a squad game, and I think, being honest with you, whether it's good enough depth, we've got pretty much depth in every position. Being honest with you, when they're fully fit, I think we have the best back 4 in the Premier League, and when fully fit, we have the best midfield 3. We've got so many options in there. And I honestly can't say the same about the front 3, and I get that's absolutely your point, but I think they're perfect as impact players. And not say we don't, we could have it do with a striker in the summer.
Harry,
maybe we have to see at the time.
Harry, you talk about the back 4. We've got the 5th best defence in the league. Fair play. We did have.
But look at the injuries, though.
Yeah. But every club has injuries. Those clubs have injuries as well.
Yeah, agreed. Villa haven't suffered from injuries yet. They want to see them get Douglas Luiz or Watkins out, and we're really talking.
They haven't suffered from injuries. You're right. But then again, that's why, right? That's why when you go into Europe, you need a squad. But it can't be quantity.
I think we've got that, though.
No, we don't. We've got quantity, not quality. We've got quantity, and you saw it because as soon as we got injuries to the first, hear me out. No, hear me out. When we had injuries, We went on a 5-game barren run. That's because the quantity, not the quality, came in. With Emerson Royale, we lost to Villa. We lost to Wolves. We lost to Brighton. I'm not saying it's his fault. I don't blame him. But what I'm saying is when that lack of quality of player comes in, the levels drop. At Spurs, there is no way we've got quality in the squad. The starting 11, maybe.
Bradley Jogsin, you got to be Jogsin. I think that's that quality there. 21-year-old Romanian offers that physical presence, recovery pace.
Harry, that's one.
Perfect signing.
That's one, right? When you look at the rest of the bench, and when you look at what happens with an injury, there is no one that can replace.
When fully fit, there'd be the likes of Sarah Basuma on the bench. One of them will probably be on the bench.
No. They'd start, and then Højbjerg and Skip on the bench, and they're not quality.
Can I ask you a question, Stel?
Højbjerg and Skip are not the quality of.
Fully fit midfield 3, what would it be? Be honest.
Our best midfield.
Yeah, we're fully fit.
Okay. On the basis that Basuma's in form, because he's had a weird season. Basuma in form is Basuma, Bentancur, Maddison for me.
So the Sarr finds himself on the bench. That's a quality player, right? You can probably change the game with a bit of energy, engine room.
So Dragusin and Sarr, that's 2 on the bench. We've got no cover at wing back. That's quality.
Yeah, I get that. And a lot of people may not like Gil, but I still think. Yeah, Harry, that is an issue. I agree, that's an issue for the long term.
And the media have said he's not part of the plan, so he's gone. Right? There is no cover for Maddison, like proper creativity. There's no cover for Son.
We've got midfielders though. I don't think we need. Bentancur can play there. We've got cover in that midfield area. Stronger than anyone else. Huh,
Harry? If our cover was so strong, we'd have beaten. We got completely overrun by Man City.
But we haven't experienced that cover yet, Stel, because we've had AFCON and we have that injuries and we just had the January transfer window. Come back to this February, March when we have the cover. Right. We're going on for a really strong second half of the season. I generally think we're cruise top 4 in the end. I think we'll be very comfortable.
You're assuming we're not going to get injuries and suspensions anymore. Then
we are going to get injuries, but AFCON we've got 3 players out.
So you need a squad. You need a squad of quality. This is my point. So when you look at the current squad on the bench, we've got Dragusin 1, Pape Sarr 2. Who else on the bench?
Also, honestly, I like him, but based off this season, he has to be there for me.
This season, he had 1 good game against Man City and another good game against who did he score against? Villa. That's it. That's all he's done.
I get it. He's still a quality player to come off the bench. Whatever you think of him, it's just
he hasn't proven it. Player. Harry, he hasn't proven it.
He hasn't proven
it. So other than Dragusin and Pape Sarr, where's the quality on the bench?
You're not going to agree with these, right? That next 2 I'm going to mention, but I'm going to mention Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner, right? Because let's say you draw a nil. Wait, hear me out on this, Dale. I know what you think, and that's absolutely fine. We draw a 0-0 at home to Brentford, right? And we're not moving the ball quick enough. And you bring players like Gil, your Werners, your Johnsons, move the ball a bit quicker. They offer you something else, maybe a bit more dynamic. Werner offers the pace. It's just being able to sit here and go, let's try something different. City have all these amazing forwards that they could kind of, alternate, interchange. There's nothing worse than just having, a lot like having the best front 3 in Europe. There was no one to kind of come on that was anywhere near their level. We've got players who can change a game, and I do believe that.
Man City dominated us. And on the bench, they had Grealish, Doku, De Bruyne,
who was used.
Stone. I'm not questioning whether they were used or not. They had nothing but quality on that bench. Whether we like it or not, this is what we have to beat if we're going to be successful. Liverpool have got better.
And I don't think we're there yet. Can I interrupt? Sorry, Stel. Can I be honest with you? I don't think we're there.
Harry, now you're agreeing with what I've just said.
Because it's not about now. It's about the future. I think we will get there. End of the season, next season. Right. You can't just abracadabra and who walks in and everything's perfect. It takes time.
I never said that. I never said any of that. Harry, I never said any of that. All I said was we do not have a quality squad. We've never had it. Under Redknapp, we never had it. Under Mourinho, under Conte,
to compete with City, yeah. We don't have City squad. I get that. They're the best team in the country. Being currently investigated 115 charges for FA. I don't think so. Very consistent. We're not able to compete with Man City yet. Partly due to injuries, partly due. We're too early into the project still. 3-4 years, absolutely.
You're changing the subject. You're going into something else.
I'm not at all. It's absolutely based on it.
Let me repeat what you just said. You
deflected it.
No. No, I haven't. You're using that because I'm saying to you that you're doing that. What you said, Harry, was you said we've got a quality squad, and I said no, we don't. We've got quantity, not quality. Then we went through it, and then you said, well,
I think both points are right, yeah.
Harry, hear me out. Then you said, okay, no, we don't. The squad isn't done yet. And I said, right.
I never said that.
So right.
Never said that.
So Harry, you said the squad hasn't been built yet.
Because you can't. Rome wasn't built overnight. We have a good squad.
Harry, I agree.
Next season's going to get stronger.
I agree. Harry, I agree. But the point is, the fact it's not been done yet means it's not quality now. That was my argument. You agree with my argument that right now the squad
quantity, but we can have even more quality in the transfer window. We're not a Man City yet. We have quality up there with a lot of teams in the league, but we're not Manchester City.
So we've got a quality squad. So we've got a quality squad.
We're fully fit, yes.
We just got torn to pieces by Man City using the squad.
Without our
that is the squad.
Madison's just come back from injury.
But the squad's quality, Harry. The squad's quality.
Yeah, I get that. We only lost.
So why did this quality squad have one shot?
Have you heard of something called Bad Day at the Office? That was one of them. It wasn't good enough. We had the players, arguably, and Gil wasn't brought off the bench. We had him as an option. Yeah, of course, I'd love to see it go. We've got Grealish, we've got Mbappe, but you just have to be realistic. City have facing 115 FFP chances, and we have to see what comes out of that. We don't want to be associated with something like that. They've overspent, and they could get in trouble for it.
Perfect. So when you blamed Ange for the squad selection in the Carabao Cup,
yeah,
but why? The squad's quality. What does it matter? The squad's quality. Why didn't they beat
anything? I should have gone with a different team.
But why? The squad's quality. But the squad's quality, Harry.
No, I get that. At the time, we hadn't put in through the transfer. I get that, but that's so many changes. It's hard to adapt for the players. I know. I totally get what you're saying, but over recent years, we've seen the second team isn't strong enough. This year, we've improved it, and you can't just go in straight away and make the changes and go, it's going to deliver and beat Fulham. 4 changes against Fulham would have been enough to win the game. 5 changes would have been enough to win the game against Fulham. That is just showing how big the squad is. We haven't been able to do that. We make 1 change in recent years, and it just isn't good enough to win a football match. I totally get where you're coming from, Stel. And next season, I think we'll be able to have a second team. But I'd love to see it going. You have 2 teams that are so strong that can go up against Manchester City, but you've got to be realistic. You can't make nearly 9 changes against Fulham and win the game.
I don't want 2 teams against Man City. I think that's impossible. I just want to look at the bench and look at the 7 on the bench and say, you know what? I'm not worried no matter who we play. And I've never ever had that.
But you can't do that in 1 or 2 windows. So being honest with you, can I be honest with you, Steph? After the summer transfer window, I think we'd be sitting here. We signed a few good players in the summer. Again, get rid of players that aren't needed. And we sit here with a really strong bench. I generally believe we'll get Champions League football next year. We'll be in a healthier position than both Newcastle and Man United are this year. And we'll have that depth to turn to. Right now, we're in a good position. Nowhere near Man City, of course. Probably not Liverpool either. But again, they've had the time under Guardiola and Klopp. They've had, years to do that. Whereas what I'm saying, Stel, is that we're even talking about how close we are to City and Liverpool, how far we are from City and Liverpool, is a compliment to the ball, considering we're just at the start of our project, 2 windows in. And what Pep Guardiola and Klopp windows in? There's several years in.
Harry, we are 24 years into a 3-year project.
I'm not talking about 24 years. I'm talking about this manager that we've appointed as a good appointment, and the future's bright.
Another one. And
I've said that about any other manager. I've said that about I'm not talking about others. I've never said that. I've never been this excited any other manager. I said day 1 Mourinho was appointed. He'd be sacked. Conte, glad he's here. Serie winner. Hopefully gets back. I don't think it's going to work. That's what I've said. And that was wrong, but he was sacked before, shouldn't he?
Imagine a chairman bringing in a manager on the sole premise of just get me a trophy. He gets you to the final, then you sack him. Imagine.
Look at that. That's why I called it out. Anyone go back and check out my tweets? I called it out at the time. I said, and I made a big post about it. Daniel Levy, the biggest mistake I've seen in recent years, he sat Mourinho for a cup final where I think he could have won it. I've said that it's a mistake, but we're entitled to mistakes. We'd all be robots if you can't make mistakes.
I've watched 24 years of mistakes. Don't worry, I'm completely.
I get that.
Right until I see this, Harry. That 1 trophy under ENIC and Levy, right? Unless that dramatically shifts in the next 2-3 years, because then they've gone over their 25 years.
But, yeah.
Hear me out. Unless that dramatically changes to the number 4 or above, for me, they're an absolute failure. Because if that goes to the number 4, then every other metric they've matched, and in some cases slightly surpassed, than any other period in history. If you look at every 25-year period in our history, if Ely and Levy in the last 2 years of their 25-year block, if they get that number 1 trophy count to 4 or above, then I'll say fair play. But if that doesn't
happen, to you, Stel, I think they will. By 2030, I think we'll have 5, 6, maybe more trophies to that. I generally think that we're on the right path.
They're not allowed 2030, Harry. No, hold on. Look, it's 25 years, right? They're not allowed 2030. So if they in the next if in that 20, they've got 2 more years. If they get it, listen, I'll let them go to 3. I'll even be nice. If they get that to 3 or above, then I'll say fair play, because then I can't argue anymore, because then they've matched the 25-year blocks in our entire history. So if they at least match that, I don't have a leg to stand on.
Can we come back on it then and see if they do match that? Because it's not fair for us to comment now and say if they do it. And I generally don't think we're that far away.
But what we are. The thing is though, and this is where it's different. Those 5, 4, 9, 5 trophies won in those different blocks, they were spread out over the 25 years. They were spread out. So it was like one there, a little break for 5 years, then a couple, then a break, then maybe 3. This ownership got 1 halfway through and then nothing. So they've got it all to do now. Let's look.
Yeah,
Harry,
agreed. And this is Levy's appointment, right?
I don't believe that. I think Levy has made the right appointment every time. I think most of the managers he's hired is
Mourinho was never the right fit for Tottenham. Never going to work.
He got us to a final, Harry. He got us to a final.
Yeah, but look, one was a bye, and we had a really easy draw. We talk about luck. It's luck again.
He beat Chelsea on the way. We never beat Chelsea. He beat them on the way. That wasn't luck.
Yeah, I get that. It took time to do that, but yeah, we beat Chelsea. I get that. I respect that.
You've got this very interesting habit of when a manager gets to a final that you don't like, it's luck. When a manager loses a final, it's bad luck. Because you
never said that. Right, listen, I think anyone with a little bit of common sense. Listen, Stel, you're not stupid. No, I haven't at all. No, absolutely not. That's absolute nonsense. You will know that Mourinho wouldn't have worked out for Tottenham. Our reasons will be completely different, right? For firstly, his style of football doesn't work, and he's never going to get what he wants at Tottenham. I respect that.
I'm not debating that.
We've done well to get to the final. Yeah, we was lucky in the champion. I like Pochettino, but it was luck to get to Champions League final. Luck to get so far under Mourinho. We've been lucky this year with a draw, barely at home in the 3rd round draw. That's luck. A lot of it's down to luck, and be consistent.
Hold on a minute. Why was it luck to get to the Champions League final?
Because we left it really late against Ajax. We done really well to get through, but a large element was luck. A couple of deflections in there. Honestly, still, you go back to it. Man City VAR decision. I think it's a correct decision. Could have gone against us with VAR the way it works. So, for me, a large amount of it is down to luck. We've done very well, and football will always be a large amount down to luck. Deflections, it's just little things like that. We've done well, and I'll be consistent on that, like I have been for today's show.
So it's luck when we get to finals, and it's unlucky when we lose them. Nothing's down to the quality of the club structure embedding itself as a beacon of glory and demanding to win trophies. If you were listening
to your guest said earlier on in the episode you should have bought something for the Champions League final. I said that. First thing you said.
If you go to Man United, you go to Man City, you go to Liverpool, you go to Arsenal, you go to Chelsea, if you go to the other big 5 clubs, apparently we're a big 6 club, I don't agree. If you go to the other big 5 clubs and you say to them, has your success been luck? They will laugh at us. They will absolutely laugh at us. They will say, no, it's down to planning. It's down to having a strategy of recruitment and the way we hire managers. It's about investing. It's about investing. It's about investing in qualities. But when it comes to Spurs, we provide every excuse under the sun. That's why they laugh at us. Do you know, I've got Brighton fans, Wolves fans, and Leicester fans that message me. Harry, do you know what they say to me? Look, this is quite interesting.
But Leicester in the Championship, we should be laughing at them. They're the banter club. They won the league. But a large amount of that was luck. It's not about planning. They hit gold with the players they brought in. Vardy in his prime. Ranieri, a good appointment.
It's all luck. It's luck. Vardy scoring those goals was luck. Enkante being brilliant was luck. Mahrez scoring goals was luck. The goalkeeper Schmeichel making saves was luck. It's all luck.
There you go. You just put my point. You put words in my mouth. I never said that. It's all luck. A large amount of it is luck.
I'm being sarcastic, Harry. Right. Leicester winning the league was not luck. An opportunity arose and they got it. They snapped at it and they took it. That's what happened. All the other teams were wobbling or in transition, and Leicester, they went for it. Spurs,
I think Leicester are a well-structured club because, as that comment says there, they went and won the FA Cup, and they were well-structured, which we're now seeing now at Tottenham.
No, we're not, because we've not won anything.
Not yet. Again, it can't possibly. We've got finally got the manager. To be in a play, 2 windows in a row. You can't argue with that. The infrastructure's been put in place. Just building a team overnight. This is game changer. The money's coming in. We spent the money. The recruitment's going to be right. You just have to be patient.
Structure, recruitment, out the Carabao Cup, out the FA Cup. Leicester, they won trophies.
But how's that on the owners, Stel? How is that on the owners?
Because you just said
full strength against Fulham. That's not Levy's fault. He supplied him with the tools.
Because you just said Leicester's success, good club structure. Who builds a club structure?
Yes.
Andrew or Levy? Levy. So when we lose, don't talk to me about Ange. You can't use you're using different arguments for different clubs.
Levy's fault for the team selection against Fulham.
Treat Spurs with the
Levy
same
doesn't choose the team against Fulham. Levy didn't choose that team. It's down to the manager.
Levy chose the manager. Levy chose the manager. Levy chose the manager. Levy chose the recruitment team. Levy chose how much investment we have. And Daniel Levy, he's the one that leads the direction of ambition. Daniel Levy,
is possibly the right manager at Tottenham or not?
Daniel Levy, as any business owner, as any leader of any organization, Samsung, Google, Apple, Mercedes, Nike, Tottenham, doesn't matter what. You lead the direction of ambition, and what you
which we're not seeing now with long-term contracts.
Harry, let me finish. The success of any organization is a reflection of the leadership. And under this leadership, 1 trophy. You're talking about if, buts, and maybes. Fact. 1 trophy
is not good enough.
Club is about.
Yes, it's unacceptable, but it will change. Yes, and I've said that. I've said that already. But we can't reverse the past. We can only change going forward. If you look forward, the future's bright. I'm behind Daniel Levy, but you can't scapegoat players. You can't call out Daniel Levy for the Fulham game.
But if they play badly, I can't blame them.
But they're one of our own. But you might
Harry, I'm not scapegoating.
Scapegoat. It's a common word that needs to be used.
Harry, hold on a minute. Harry, we've had a really good chat up until now, yeah? And we're still going to have a good chat. I'm allowed to criticize a player. And see, this is why fans. Correct. This is why fans.
Some people target individuals still. Not you, but some do.
This is why fans, not me, because I don't fear it. This is why some fans, they fear having an opinion that goes against the grain because they get labeled as scapegoat, hater, Arsenal fan. We've got to stop doing this. Like, rather than just saying, you're scapegoating, you're doing this. How's about, why do you feel that way? Explain it to me. And I'll tell you why I think Brendan Johnson is an absolute waste of money. And you can argue back as to why you think he'll come good. And then next year we'll have the debate and we'll see where we're at. Yeah. You might be right. I might be right. But my opinion, without being called scapegoating, I think he's an absolute waste of money.
And that's completely
much better. I think we can do much better with £50 million.
But still, I was at the game against Man City, right? And when they read out the team selection, there's some people who cheered every other player but your Brendan Johnson's, for example, right? That is already before he's even stepped out into the pitch, not backing a player on the pitch. It's a very, very small example there, right? You can criticise him after the game. There's like Romero.
I agree.
Romero's a liability, but I support him in a Spurs shirt. Do I think he's up there with the best in the league in terms of ability? Yes. Would I play him in the Champions League final? No, because I think he's a liability and I would end in the game with 11 men. But I get behind him. He plays for my club and I love him where he wears the shirt.
Harry?
Simple.
I'm going to end it there so you can have the last say. Listen, I think you've been a great sport, man. I think you've been a great sport. I hope there's more young fans out there that have got as much energy and enthusiasm for this as you. I think it's brilliant. Even if we disagree, at least you had the confidence to come on and actually have the debate. Listen,
I'll always be up for debate. You are exactly the same, right? There's a lot of people who give it all of this but won't actually turn up. You as well. You always turn up to a debate, and I'll never say no to debate. It's completely different opinions. I could be wrong for all I know. We'll have to see. So, who knows?
I just hope in 20 years' time you're not like me, where you've realised what this ownership's like. You've lost your hair supporting the club, and you're just enough's enough. But look, Tell everyone where they can find you on YouTube, on socials, the name of your podcast, and everyone subscribe, like Harry, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, firstly, Stel, again, massively appreciate it for making this happen. You can follow me there, Harry Scarf22, but most importantly, go check out my channel, Scarfy Spurs Talk, creating Spurs content, the weekly live podcast every Monday, 8 p.m, live on YouTube. Is getting about fans' opinions, also getting opposition views. I just sit back. It's why it's nice to come on these shows to actually give my opinion, because I sit back and my podcast and we let the flow, if you like. We've got match previews, match day vlogs, match reactions. So yeah, all great fun. So thank you very much, Del, for coming on, for having me. So it's been great. Always love a debate, as I said. And at the end of the day, we both love Tottenham Hotspur. We both want what's best for the club, and we both want Postecoglou to succeed. And hopefully we'll see that, because we played some good stuff this season. That is all down to the manager.
And there you have it, people. Please subscribe to Harry's channels and to Tottenham Away. We've got a show tomorrow night. As always, our big Monday show. Iggy, myself, Will, Mari, the whole JP, Lee, hopefully, and Maz will be there. We're going to be discussing the FA Cup exit. We are going to be discussing briefly about ENIC and Levy again. We're also going to be looking at the end of the transfer window, the upcoming fixtures, Noosa signing for Brentford, and we are also going to be discussing a little bit about Jurgen Klopp. So tune in for that one. Harry, my man, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much, Del. It's been a pleasure.
Big up. And all the chat, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.